Can you hear me now, guys? I'm hoping you can, but just saying, welcome to Custom Carving and Epoxy Resin Live. And we've got Karen on the stage. Can you checking in chat? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Yeah, sorry, guys. I muted at the start, but Karen joined us just at the right second. So I think we need some special intro music, though, for Karen before she comes on the stage. So I'm hoping you can hear this. Hello, Karen.
Hello.
Firestarter. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm here.
You made it just in time as well. You're the first guest I've had that literally that 1 second you came in, but you came in on time, so you figured it.
Well, you know, on time.
Nice to see you got the wine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm on the coffee, unfortunately. I'm up at 5, so no wine on a school night.
Well, I'm up really early tomorrow, 5:45-ish, something like that. I've got.
Hey, DNA Resin as well. Nice to see you in here. I don't think
Hello,
we've had you in chat before.
Hello, Donna.
Hi, Donna. Oh, we got Tracy. We're getting a good turnout tonight. I think everybody wants to meet you, Karen.
Well, hey, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't see any of the comments, but it was set to private chat on the side. So
yeah, you need to be in the comment section. Then
yeah,
you should
I'm
see
in there now.
But before we start, very importantly, I think I checked just before the show, and I think you're on 950 subscribers. So if anybody in chat has not subscribed to Karen, let's do it. Let's get her to 1,000 in this Q&A if we can. So go to her channel, The Dragon's Cave, and subscribe, because I really want to see that happen, and I'm sure it's going to happen over the next week.
Yeah, well, it's about Sunday I was on 930, so yeah, it's getting there.
Do you get those annoying days where you go down a couple and then it goes back up again?
Yeah. When did it go down? One of my videos recently, I can't remember which one it was, but you know, within a couple of hours I lost 2 subscribers. So I was like really sad about that.
I don't think it's necessarily the video sometimes. I just think sometimes they come and go.
Yeah.
I've seen mine go down by 10 in one day, and then the next day it went up by 20, and it's just like, what's going off here? Did you not like the video, or?
Oh, it's really annoying me lately. I think there's only one video in about the last 10 that hasn't had 1 thumbs down.
Yeah.
And I don't mind if you don't like the video, that's fine. Do a thumbs down on it, but at least leave a comment to say why you've done it, why you didn't like the video.
Yeah. Don't just be a troll for the sake of being a troll. Give some constructive feedback.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Yeah. But again, I think that's one of the things, you know, if you get a thumbs up or you get a thumbs down, at least people are watching. And I think everybody's videos are different, and that's what I love. I think every crafter, everybody with a YouTube channel, everybody's different, and some people will relate, some won't.
Yeah. It's like I've had a couple of, I wouldn't say the particularly rude comments, but it's like, I didn't like what you did with that. And I always answer, and well, you know, what would you have liked to see? Was there something different you would have liked me to do? And they never ever reply.
No.
So, you know.
Well, you've got another subscriber. He's just subscribed to your channel. So there's one more.
I've got my phone. I can keep an eye on it.
And Jellybean saying she gets a thumbs down all the time. So it's going to happen. I think the problem is we all relate to different things. Some of us like some things, some of us like others. You're never going to please everyone. I've learned that. So when I first started, I always had background music. And then I got loads of comments saying that background music is so annoying. So I took it out. And now I'm getting comments saying, where's the music? I don't like the fact that there's a few silences. So you're never going to please everyone.
I only put background music in if I've got like 2 or 3 minutes of quiet.
Yeah.
I'm not a massive fan of background music myself, but I also don't like long silences. So
yeah. Oh, you've got another subscriber by the looks of it. So that's two. We only need another 48 now, and you'll be at the 1,000. It's going to happen. But
I'm gonna get there.
Tell us a bit about your resin journey, where it started. Because I believe you're in Spain, aren't you?
I am, yes.
So you're a Welsh lady living in Spain, doing resin. So
yeah,
tell us more.
Living in Spain via south of England, yeah. So I kind of started with lockdown.
Okay.
I've always done crafts, as far back as I can remember. I've always done some sort of craft. But then lockdown started. I was on this 70% pay, stay at home kind of thing, or whatever it was.
A bit like the furlough scheme.
It was. I was furloughed. And I was bored. Obviously, wasn't allowed out. I was considered clinically vulnerable, so I had to stay indoors as much as possible. So I started knitting. Now, knitting is something I haven't done. Sorry, I've got a cat running around my ankles.
Reggie's in his cage because otherwise he'd be jumping on my knee.
Hang on. Say hello, Stinky.
Oh.
This is Stinky Butt.
I can guess why.
Yeah. So yeah, I started knitting. Now I used to knit when my children were small, but it was kind of turning a craft into a necessity, obviously, because when you got little kids and not a lot of money, I did a lot of knitting and sewing, but I hadn't picked up knitting needles for years.
Right.
And then I thought, yeah, I'll do something. And I'd seen, I wish I had some photos now. Somebody was making like these little nurse dolls.
Okay.
Like essential staff type dolls, knitted dolls. And the pattern was so simple. But then I kind of adapted the pattern, and I made firemen, farmers, policemen, all sorts of things. And I had them all hanging in my living room window. And it was very random because I lived in a tiny little street behind a pub. And nobody ever passed my window anyway, apart from my neighbours. So, yeah, it was just something to do, really. And then I moved to Spain. I took severance from my job.
Okay.
We were offered severance. And I thought, well, we were already looking for somewhere in Spain. And we'd actually been here, about 2 weeks before lockdown started. We'd been over your house.
1 second, sorry, Susie. It's the Dragon's Cave. Search for that, and then you'll find it. You might be getting another subscriber now. So sorry, carry on. That was an important one.
I think Susie's already one of my subscribers, actually. But
okay.
Yeah, we'd been house hunting, and then we were lucky at that point that we'd actually given power of attorney to a local solicitor to deal with everything for us.
Okay.
And then we suddenly went into lockdown. So we didn't have to come back until after we'd bought the house. We didn't have to come and fill in any paperwork, which is just because we couldn't travel. Yeah. But then we were looking at it kind of like a holiday home kind of thing. And then my husband was offered severance as well.
Okay.
Which was kind of good for him. He'd been with the company 30 years. And he was past state retirement age. But he was planning on working until the end of the year.
Yeah.
Do I retire at the end of the year with just my pension, or do I jump ship with the severance and get a little payout? So right, we're going. And then I found. Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat.
That's okay. Wine. I think that'll help.
Definitely. Yes, please. I'll have a cup of tea. Thank you. That's my husband offering me tea.
Okay.
It was. I got here and I found the light was very different here from what it was in the UK, and I couldn't see well enough to knit. The light was very odd, and I was struggling with knitting. So I was looking for something else, and I came across, it was a Facebook group, and Daniel Cooper was in it.
Okay.
And I think Julie Katz as well.
Yeah.
This would have been like late 2020, early 21. So I thought, I'm going to do that. And it was like something like January of 21, I first started doing resin because I needed a hobby and it needed to be creative. When I was packing up to move, the craft supplies that I passed on to my grandchildren because I didn't want to cart them all the way over here.
Yeah.
It was an absolute joke. All right, Stinky. So, I needed something to do. And it was like January, and I'm sitting in my garden because I haven't got any, apart from gloves, I've got no equipment. So I'm like, I can't do this indoors.
Yeah.
I'm sitting under the gazebo in the garden, very cold, and trying to pour. I think the first thing I actually made randomly was a set of dominoes.
Okay.
But nothing in this entire house is level.
Yeah.
So kind
that
of
sounds like the house I rent.
It was kind of like this.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta get a bit of board, put it on the table. Now we're gonna wedge this board up in all directions to try and get it level. And they worked out surprisingly well.
Yeah.
I mean, my next 2 or 3 pours of other things I made didn't go quite so well, but my first one came out brilliantly, and it was like a cheap set that I got from Amazon. So I got to find something better now.
Yeah.
It just kind of snowballed, and it got bigger and bigger. Now I've taken over the entire garage. I have got several hundred molds probably.
Right.
I've got more mica and glitter than they have in my local craft shop.
Yeah. It gets addictive, doesn't it? You never stop. Seeing something new, wanting something new. I think we was having a chat the other day about some of Julie's molds, and some of them look amazing, but the only thing that puts me off is the shipping side. But again, I think you always see something new on a video on YouTube and you think, I need to get that.
Yeah, I've done that so much. I don't. You may or may not have heard, probably not, unless you've watched some of my slightly older videos. One of the songs what I wrote.
Oh, right. No, I haven't.
I've written 2, but I only write the lyrics and I stick it into Suno and let them deal with it.
Yeah.
To kind of do the music, and it's actually called the Resin Addict Blues. Okay. And it's basically all about not having enough room to keep all your stuff.
Well, I know that feeling.
and how desperate you are for the courier to arrive with the things you only ordered half an hour ago.
Yeah. So that's my problem is I'll order something and I'll have a project in mind and go, this is what I'm going to do when that gets here. Yeah. By the time it gets here, I've probably forgotten what I was going to do with it originally, and then I do something completely different.
Yeah, I had that issue today, actually. What was it yesterday? Anyway, I've got a Temu unboxing video going out tomorrow.
Okay.
Another one. This is my second one this year, and I don't really like doing them that close together, but I've got another 17 orders on the way.
Oh, so. Wow. Yeah, that'll be a nice surprise for the postman. Just quickly though, Paula, I store my molds in just those long plastic. Do you know those plastic containers? What you've got under storage bed containers? That's what I've got. So I've got probably 5 or 6 stacked up at the side of me there, and that's just what I use because it keeps them reasonably flat, and I can organise them. So I've got like coaster molds in one, tray molds, animals, randoms, and all of that.
Yeah, funny thing.
Yours, Karen.
Well, the funny thing is my daughter was over a couple of weeks ago, and I got 6 of the bigger ones that go under the bed, and I bought some like 25-litre ones, so I've got half a dozen of those as well.
Yeah.
And she helped me organise them, so I've got one with trays and coasters, one with animals. I've got a Christmas one, a Halloween and Easter one. I've got one that's all frog molds, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why. I've ordered another 2 frog molds, and I've got 2. So, am I going to be making 4 frogs at once ever? Probably
No,
not. But
they don't really last that long. I mean, I found, even though I store them in plastic bags inside the totes,
yeah,
just trying to keep them away from the UV if possible, and I find that if they get too close to the squishy molds, it does something weird to them as well. It kind of
right, okay.
moisture out. I don't know if you've noticed the same thing with the silicone mats. Now, the molds, like the frog molds, the harder ones, they don't have a problem.
Yeah.
But the soft, squishy ones, if you put them on your silicone mat, if you leave it there for any length of time, it kind of bubbles up the mat underneath them. They go really weird. So I don't know to do with the difference in the moisture content, the silicone oil content.
The different silicones.
They do affect each other. So that's why I sandwich bag them inside the totes.
I'll have to remember that, because I've got quite a few of the more expensive handmade molds now, and they're made out of that really soft, squishy sort of silicone. So I'll have to remember that next time I pour them. And keep an eye out for it.
I don't know what the science is behind it. I just know it happens. So
yeah, who knows? So talk to me about. I think it was amazing. By the way, the video where the UV just went up in flames and how you stayed so calm.
It's people think I'm funny. I'm really not. It's just my life is a joke. If something can go wrong, it's going to happen.
It does, yeah.
So it's like, oh, well, that's gone again then. It's like, I mean, I had to get Dynarod round yesterday.
Right. Have they got those in Spain?
Yeah. Well, this is the second time we've had to get them in now because Spanish drainage is not great.
Right.
When we bought the house, we weren't even on mains drainage. We just had a cesspit in the garden.
Okay.
So we had that connected up, but something's gone wrong somewhere. And so a couple of days ago, my garage was flooded.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was great fun. There's a vent pipe. I don't even know where this is coming from. I don't know where any of these pipes go.
Yeah.
There's like a void space under the house, and I'm pretty sure that most of them connect together down there. But there's this vent pipe that came up, and it just started spitting out foul water and flooded my garage.
Okay.
So that was fun.
What, like sewage water, was it? Or
yeah.
Okay.
So Dynarod came round yesterday. They took my toilet out, put a pressure washer down the hole, and blasted it, and not all the water went down.
Okay.
Some of it came up the shower drain.
Oh dear.
So the house whiffed a little, to say the least. Thank you, darling. It's all right. Butler's bringing me a cup of tea.
I know, that's great service.
Yeah. So they came round, charged me a lot of money, as they do. And they still haven't, it's still not fixed, basically. They're going to have to come and lift the lid off the old cesspit. And so, yeah, so that's been a lot of fun. What else happened? Oh, yeah, my washing line collapsed this morning in the wind.
Oh, dear.
Well, I just expect everything to go wrong so that it's kind of hope for the best, but plan for the worst. So when things happen, like random things catching fire,
I was going to say resin's the perfect hobby for that then.
It really isn't that much of a surprise.
No. And I think, do you know what? That's one of the fun things with resin, though, is you never know what's going to happen. You could get your best result in your next piece that you will mold, or you could get your worse. You know, it's just one of them things.
Oh, you saw the when I had the froggy face off with my daughter.
Yes, I saw that.
Well, that was her first ever doing anything with resin at all. And her frog turned out so brilliant. And look what happened to mine.
I think sometimes, though, it is, you could pour two things exactly the same way as well, and you'll get two completely different results. And that's one of the things I love is it's that element of surprise that no matter how long you've done it for, no matter how many times you've done that particular piece, you never know. And it's like that piece I tested out earlier, which is now a lovely black shiny coaster.
Everybody needs a coaster.
Yeah. Well, I am going to reuse this in something. I actually think that's quite a nice blank now for something else. So not quite the effect I was going for, but I'm so glad that I didn't do it straight into my second layer of the table. But there we go.
I think that might have been a little bit heartbreaking, really.
Yeah. Although it would still look nice, just as a plain back. It's a nice shine to it, but it isn't the effect I wanted. And I think that's the thing. It's like earlier on this week, I tested a new sort of bloom method. I don't know if you saw that, but it was more of a pastel color that it came out with and sort of less defined on the petals. But I really liked that. And it was just something what I've not seen done before, but I literally mixed in about 6 different colors. In fact, it was 8 different colors of alcohol inks with different white bloom pastes, and then literally painted each petal in. And I think that turned out really cool.
I mean, I really struggled with blooms. The first one I ever did worked really, really well.
Okay.
I've never managed to do another one since. But the first one I did... Do you check
your temperature before you pour?
Sorry?
Do you check the temperature before you pour it?
Well, I've only just bought myself a thermometer, but it's the probe type as well. I can't afford one of those fancy little gallon things.
Well, you say that. Do you know, I've got that laser one. It cost me 11 quid off Amazon, and the probe ones are about 9. So I thought I'll go with a laser one.
Oh, okay. So I might give it another go then. I bought a couple of these cheap probe ones from Temu.
Yeah.
I haven't tried them yet, but I think I was using, it was the same brand of resin I was using.
Okay.
Because I use Resin Pro.
Yeah.
It's made in Italy. It's reasonably cheap to get here. Delivery is free because I buy it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. You say I didn't know that they have Amazon Prime in Spain either. So I'm learning something new every day.
And Amazon Prime in Spain is only $4.99 a month instead of whatever it is you pay for the UK one. Yeah.
It's about 80 quid for the year in the UK, but there we go.
Yeah, I still actually have kept my UK Amazon Prime. I'll eventually get rid of it.
Yeah.
But I use it for there are programs on Amazon Prime UK that you can't get on Amazon Prime Spain.
Right.
Mostly language issues. I mean, I understand more Spanish than I speak.
Okay.
I still don't want to watch a film in it. I'm not that good.
Well, the only other language I speak is Hungarian, and there's not many people in the UK that I can converse in Hungarian with, so it's a very strange one.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing, is it? I mean, I'm sure if you went on Facebook that you'd find a group of Hungarian speakers that you could talk to.
But I think the only Spanish I know I learned from Dora the Explorer when my little one was watching it. But hola, I know that. I know señorita and a few of the common words, but that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I get by. So when we first came here and we had to register with a GP.
Okay.
They insisted that if you didn't speak Spanish, you had to take an interpreter with you.
Right.
15 quid a pop for the interpreter.
Wow.
And then my GP retired and a new doctor came in and he actually speaks really good English.
Okay.
So I don't need an interpreter anymore, but sometimes we have to go and see different doctors if he's not in.
Yeah.
I had to see one last week, and I know she can speak some English, but she just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
So between my limited Spanish and Google Translate, we manage.
Yeah. You've got to be careful with that, though, because Google Translate isn't always accurate.
Especially when it comes to medical terms, no.
Right, I haven't tried that, but
yeah, I wouldn't.
Tell me about what's your favourite piece that you've done so far?
Oh, probably the Fall into Winter frog, to be fair.
Okay,
if you haven't seen it, it's kind of like autumn themed at the back, and then I've got a zip going through the middle of the frog, and winter at the front end. So yeah, that's probably my absolute favourite. Oh, and dragons. I love my dragons.
I think everybody loves dragons, and I think the thing is with resin, it's as soon as you add a chameleon pigment or something like that to a dragon, it's just so simple, but yet looks so real. And I think that's the great thing. Well, everyone's saying that frog was beautiful, so I clearly need to go back and watch that one.
Well, I actually put a picture of that one on. I'm in a resin group on Reddit.
Okay.
And I put the picture on there, and there was something like 4,000 likes.
Wow.
And 40 new subscribers. Just from
did you put a comment there saying, now subscribe to my YouTube channel, please?
No. Because somebody asked me, I just put it up there, and somebody said, oh, have you got a channel? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm new to this subreddit, and I don't really know if I should be doing that at this point, because that's a bit rude. So I went in and I actually put the link in my bio so they can find it. The link to my channel in my bio on Reddit, so they can find it if they want to.
Okay.
Without me spamming things. Because I just think it's rude. Oh,
what made you come up with Froggy Friday? Was it you that came up with it, or was it Girl in the Garage?
It was me. It was me. I made a couple of frogs, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm thinking, well, how can I kind of make this a regular thing? And I said, oh, it's a Friday. Froggy Friday, here we go. And I think about the second or third one I did where I mentioned Froggy Friday, Lisa messaged me and said, can I join you? And I'm like, yeah, but if you want, you can like set up a playlist, because I don't know how to do that. I'm technologically challenged. Okay. I never used to be. But yeah, so Lisa set up a playlist for me and everything, and then she showed me how to add things and sent me the link. And she's actually added Lola and Tim are both able to add links now as well. So it means...
So it's you I've got to blame for having 20 frogs in my living room then?
Is that all?
Yeah, so far, they're growing. They're growing. Soon I won't be able to get in the living room because there'll just be frogs everywhere. But you know what? Everybody loves it. Everybody loves Froggy Friday. So thank you for that. It's brilliant. And do you know what? Even for me, it gets my mind going. So I have to always do it on a Wednesday, so it's ready for the Friday. Yeah. And it gets my mind going. And I think, what am I going to do that's different, that hasn't been done before? But yet every week you see new ideas from people. And it's amazing how many things you can do with that one mold.
But I also think it's really weird how we don't really have a theme.
Yeah.
It's frog related. You can paint, you can draw, you can needle felt, because I think it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I saw that, the needle felt one.
You could do origami for all I care, just as long as it's frog themed. But it was really weird how 3 of us last week, I think there were 12 videos actually added to the playlist last week, and 3 of them had butterflies. Yeah. And not one of us had discussed any of this with anybody else. So it's just kind of weird how people's minds work, you know. It's kind of like, ooh, I haven't done that before. I'm going to do that.
I think it's people missing spring maybe at this time of year. I'm thinking, where are the butterflies, you know?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, no butterflies here at the moment.
But
and
no,
unfortunately, the wasps are making an appearance. But
that's what's exciting me at the minute. That first layer, I think it's looking good so far. I just need to
I'm actually glad you took those small pieces out, because I think they were kind of overwhelming it a bit. But... yeah,
the Petri ones. That's what I thought. I think, do you know what? I want this one to be all about the blooms. And again, that's why I'm thinking with the second layer to either go with the velvet effect or the bubble effect. Yeah. And I thought if I do the bubble effect, I've got a dark brown mica, which is basically a little bit metallic. And I thought that might look like earth underneath the flowers.
That'd be quite cool.
Yeah, but I want to get it right. So I'm just taking a few days to digest in my mind, whether I want that, whether I want the velvet effect or what I want to do. But
maybe if you got a green brown like color shift mica, maybe.
I don't like green. I don't like green very much, and that's the thing. This is going to be a table, so whatever I put in, it's going to be there, sort of staring at me every day. And I'm not I like green in frogs, but I just don't really like it in anything else.
I'm sorry, I'm not reading the chat at all.
I'm trying to do it at the same time.
I'm so back with that and everything else. Sorry.
Right. So we've got Kernick's Creations asking what your biggest fail was, Karen, or is.
Well, that's a kind of a toss-up. So it could have been the UV resin catching fire, or it could be the frog that ended up badly disabled.
Okay, I think I saw that one actually.
That was the frog from the dueling froggos I did with my daughter. I took it out of the mold too soon.
Yeah.
And it kind of went.
Yeah.
And it sort of spread, and it looked really badly disabled. Bless it. I mean, I've wasted an awful lot of resin making things that really did not work.
No. Well, my biggest fail is here. Do you know what? I'm not going to do anything with it. I was going to put it in the table to reuse the resin, but I'm keeping it as a reminder of just how bad things can really get.
I haven't actually yet. I don't think I've ever actually thrown anything away at all.
No.
So I think it was when you were talking to Lula last week, you were saying that I was saying I was going to get my son-in-law to take a hammer to the pieces I didn't want.
Yeah.
And you said you kind of put them in hot water and cut them up.
Cut them up into little mosaic squares like that.
Yeah. I kind of had more in mind things like coasters, which are quite thick.
It works. If you get tin snips and boiling water, it will work with coasters. That was a coaster. It was a big, thick one like that.
Okay.
But you need.
If you're going to spend the energy using tin snips, surely it's just as easy to put it in a bag and hit it with a hammer.
Well, if it works, then yes. I want to try soaking it in boiling water so it goes soft, and then getting a cheap second-hand food processor and seeing if that works. Yeah,
you really want a cheap second-hand one for that. Because
charity shop find, I think, maybe £5 or £10.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could put boiling water in the food processor with it so that it keeps it soft. Because I would imagine as soon as you take it out of the water, it's going to start firming up again.
It stays soft for about 2 minutes. So if you soak it for about 3 minutes, it stays like that bendy, rubbery texture for about 3 to 5 minutes, I would say. So you'd be okay to drop it straight in a food processor.
I think I just remembered what my biggest fail was, actually. I attempted to make, I had a tray mold, and I was going to make a bowl. And I kept checking on it to make sure that, it was still soft enough to bend.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what I didn't realize was I was only checking one side of it.
Yeah.
And the heat mat it was sitting on was only working on one side.
Okay.
So the side I was checking, the heat mat wasn't working.
Right.
So the other side was completely solid.
Wow.
I got this thing out and I picked it up, and this side is like rock solid, and this side is like, okay.
Falling off, yeah.
Yeah. So I tried everything. I turned it upside down in a bowl. I put the heat gun on it. I poured boiling water over it. I sat it in boiling water first and then blasted it with the heat gun. And all that happened was the side that was fully set just snapped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that actually is the only piece I've ever thrown away.
Okay. Touch wood, I've not thrown a piece away yet. And that's just because I always try and think of a way to fix it if I can. Or repurpose it like this, because if you can save yourself the money on other resin, and again, we all like black resin and do things with it, put this in, it's half the resin. So there's things like that, but it's just being creative, I think, some of the time. But I can't bring myself to throw it away because it's so expensive. And
well, I don't even know why I threw that away, because normally I would have just broken it up and used it as filler. I was just so disappointed with myself and the mess I had made. I thought, no, I don't want to see it again, so it's gone.
Well, apparently they're going to be writing a book now, Andy and the Cocaine Bear, based on that. Don't know where that comes from, but I would probably read it. But there we go. Very, very strange ideas going off in chat.
Yeah, that's Jules the Resonator. It's a book title, Andy and the Meth Bear Nightmare.
Yeah, I think it's just because they might be referring to the whiteness of him, because that was the eco-pore that sank to the front and then gave me that. I think he's a cross between a polar bear and a grizzly.
I could see that, sort of.
Yeah. The UV's still not fully cured on it, but there we go. That'll teach me to go and change UV.
Yeah, I'm because it's so cold in my garage at the moment. It's winter. I can't heat the room in any way because I can't close the garage doors.
Right.
The front end of my car is in, and my driveway is so short. The front end of my car is inside the garage, so I can't close the garage doors. Plus, I want the ventilation anyway. So I'm really not using an awful lot of epoxy at the moment. Okay. I'm doing a lot more eco-pore and UV.
Yeah.
I've got a heat mat, which is, I had to buy a new one after the episode with the failed bowl.
Yeah.
Because they're just cheap reptile mats that I buy from Amazon.
Okay.
But that upset me a bit. But then I have to have a heat mat anyway, because I've got no access to water in the garage unless I take it out there with me. So it's kind of, I need to be able to warm the resin up somehow. So I tend to sit it on the heat mat for an hour before I mix it.
Yeah. I sometimes give it a water bath if it's particularly cold. I like to warm it
up before I mix it and not afterwards, because then you risk a flash cure too much. I've had a few flash cures, thankfully not too many. I think the most amusing one was probably, I was making an ashtray.
Okay.
I don't know why I ever thought it was a good idea to make ashtrays out of resin.
Out of resin, probably not the best.
You can't safely use them.
Yeah.
But it's an ashtray shaped like a volcano.
Okay.
And it was so deep, and I poured the resin in, and it started flash curing, and it started smoking. And I'm
dear.
Ooh.
Did you film it? That would have been a great video.
No, I didn't actually. This was before I actually started filming.
Okay.
Although I did film 2 things that I made when I first started. So this would have been like, given the fact that I think I'm wearing a T-shirt, it must have been sort of spring, summer.
Yeah.
And I did make 2 videos, and I never posted them. I was like, oh my God, I sound stupid. It looks stupid. The results are awful. I'm not going to do that. But I found the footage, and I have actually uploaded one of the videos since, but it's one of the first ones that I uploaded. I think it'll be within the first dozen, and it was something I made. Do you know the cloud effect?
Yes.
So I did the cloud effect, but I dropped silicone oil into it as well to see what would happen. All right.
Yeah.
And it was, it wasn't a total disaster. But when I took it out of the mold, I'm going, ew, this is so greasy. Oh my God, this is horrible. Ew. And I never posted videos at the time, but I have posted one of them since. And the other one is actually, I believe, the other one I got the footage for is doing like the letter key rings, but with the cloud effect in them.
Yeah.
So I may eventually sling that up just for giggles.
Yeah. What made you want to start putting content on YouTube then?
Well, funny enough, it was the same YouTube group that Daniel Cooper was in, and I'd made a couple of things, and somebody's going, "Oh, that's really good. How did you do that? Have you done a video? Can you put a video up?"
Yeah.
And I started doing the videos, and I'm thinking, "No, this just looks really stupid. I'm not doing this." And then I've got a few friends, not many, but I have a few. And one of them was all like, "Oh, I really want to do resin, really want to do resin." And I'm like, "Well, come round and I'll kind
Show
of
you how
to start. Don't rely on me because I'm no expert by a long stretch." And she's like, "Oh, but I'm busy with work and it's not. If you had some videos, I could kind of watch those."
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't show everything in the videos. People generally do not want to sit there watching me mixing, weighing, measuring,
For an
mixing,
hour.
all that kind of stuff for an hour. Whereas, come around for an hour, I'll show you how to do that part. And then if there's a specific effect you want to see or something, if it's something I can do, I'll make a video.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought, well, if she's interested in seeing, maybe other people will be interested. And I'm a bit of a show off, to be fair. So, yeah, if it works, I'm going to do it. But then I found then that people don't just want to see things at work.
No.
They like to see they like to see you're a human.
Yeah.
They like to see that you failed. So it doesn't make people then think, "Oh, well, every video I watch, everybody does it so well and I can't do it and I feel like a failure and I'm going to give up." And then it's like, "Oh, well, actually, she's got a channel. She's doing okay. And oh my God, look at the mess she just made."
Yeah.
So,
but that's part of it. And I agree, because there's some resin channels I see and every video is a stunning result or it's something that's worked. And that's all good and well. But I think it's like mine. That video's going live. I don't care. I spent 2 or 3 days on it. So that video is going live, whether it turned out or not. And it shows people that it's okay to make a mistake. And it's like my blooms, my earlier blooms, I don't think are anywhere near as nice as the ones that I've got now. And it's interesting to see the journey. And I think that's the exciting thing for me.
I tried to do, I did put the video up. I was making a Glowin the Dark frog.
Right.
And I had some resin left over and I thought, "Oh, I wonder if Glowin the Dark powder will work like the white powder, the white pigment for making blooms."
Yeah.
And I wanted to try that firework effect, the coasters.
The one where you put the dots in and then it all pulls in. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you now, Glowin the Dark powder does not do that.
Okay.
The video is up, it's been seen, but it's not good.
Well, it's like, I don't know if you saw it, but I tried doing glitter mixed directly into the white bloom mixture. And that just created a weird, wispy snowflake-like effect. But I didn't like it in a bloom.
Well, it depends what effect you're going for. And it doesn't necessarily have to be what you thought it was going to be to make it, that doesn't make it a bad thing. No. Somebody will always, or almost always, like.
I agree. And it's like some of the blobbier blooms as well. Some people comment and go, "Oh, that's lovely," and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's like that, what was it? The bleeding heart one I did. I really didn't like it. It was too heavy for me because I'm a bit of a perfectionist now with my blooms. And then I've had a few people say it looked stunning. And I was like, "Okay, really? Okay, where are you looking?" That's a different piece. But it's just one of those things that I think everybody's got different taste as well. And I think that's something that I'm trying to adapt to now on YouTube is not everybody likes what I like. And it's like, I don't particularly like all the pretty pinks and everything like that, but I'm starting to incorporate them now because actually a lot of my viewers might really like that. And just because it's not my favorite color, I've got to start incorporating different things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really much of a pink person. I'm more purples and golds and stuff. But I use pretty much every color there is because people like different things.
Yeah. And do you know what? I think it's seeing a fail, seeing somebody that I suppose in a way you're making yourself a bit vulnerable, aren't you? Because you're going, oh look, here's a video I made. I can't do this. But I think people actually relate to that and go, do you know what? This is a human being. I'm going to continue watching their content because they're not getting all of their editing perfect every time. They're not getting every piece turn out successfully. Because I think some of these ones where it's a successful one every time, they've probably done it 3 or 4 times to get the right effect that time.
Yeah. I had a comment on it's one of the, I think it might have been the frog video where the legs collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was fairly recent. And somebody actually, it was quite a long comment, but it was like, oh, I've come so close to giving up resin because every video I watch, they're all doing so perfectly, and everything I do doesn't work perfectly. And it's just so good to see somebody doing the same sort of mistakes that I make, making the same fails I make. So it's kind of given me hope that I will get there. And it's kind of giving them a little bit more confidence, they said, not me.
But again, I think
more confidence to carry on.
Sometimes as well, it's because the videos you watch, and this is the problem with this one. It was a 1-minute short that I saw this new black velvet technique. And nowhere did it say that you shouldn't be using an opaque black. It should be a transparent black. Common sense now. But again, it's part of that learning journey. And that's what I like about people that post the real videos is you get to learn with them through their mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started watching videos, I don't recall seeing anybody ever making a mistake.
Yeah.
Everybody was perfect. If they weren't perfect, they weren't showing the videos. It's kind of disheartening sometimes when you see somebody going, oh, look, this is my first time doing this, and hasn't it come out beautifully, and look how perfect and shiny it is. And then I try the same thing, and it takes me 14 attempts to get it right. I'm thinking, I'm obviously not cut out for this, because this person makes it look so easy, and it's not, or not for me anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, that was another kind of thing behind starting my channel, because it's like, not everybody is perfect. These people can't be as perfect as they're pretending to be.
Not when they work with resin.
No. No, I mean, resin's temperamental. We all know that. When I first started, I was using Resin Pro, but I was using, it was called transparent, which was great for like small pieces of jewelry and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was what I was using when I made my one and only successful bloom.
Yeah.
But I found it was very bubbly, because not all of us can afford debubblers, you know.
No.
And
I didn't have one to start with either, and I think you're right. But they are coming down in price, I've noticed, which is good, because I think when debubblers first came out, they were like £300, some of them, and actually now you can pick them up for about $120, $130, which is a lot cheaper than it was.
Yes, still out of my budget, but yeah. Unless maybe I'll smile nicely at Let's Resin and see if they want to give me a free one.
Well, you never know. It's worth asking, especially if you've got a YouTube channel. It's worth sending an email and saying, look, I've got a YouTube channel. I'm missing this piece of equipment. I've seen yours, and I'd love to test it out. You never know. They might say yes. Well,
I mean, there's not, on Amazon Spain, there's not an awful lot of Let's Resin products available. There are some, but not too many. I wanted the Let's Resin chameleon powder and the flakes.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it was the powders. I think the set was about £15.
Yeah.
On Amazon UK, but €35 on Amazon Spain.
Okay, that's a big difference.
Yeah, because they're having to pay import costs and all the rest of it.
Right.
So generally with stuff like that, I just have it sent to my daughter in the UK. And when I go over or she comes over here, we just bring them over.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Let's Resin, the
So she
double
gets free
sided.
accommodation for the holiday in Spain, and you
Yeah,
get more craft products. Perfect.
exactly. And then when I go over to visit her, she takes me to things like takes me to the range and B&M and all those kind of places that I also don't have access to over here.
Pound shops and things like that. There's loads. They're popping up everywhere at the minute in the UK. Lots of different brands of
Yeah,
pound shops. And what annoys me is when you go in and half the aisles aren't things for a pound when you're going into a pound shop.
yeah. So there was one in Worthing where I used to live, and it used to be called Poundland, I think, or Pound World,
Okay.
one or the other.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it still is, but a lot of their stuff is branded Pep and Company.
Yeah.
Well,
Pep and Co. Yeah. That's the clothing brand in Poundland as well.
yeah. Well, just 5 minutes walk from where I live in Spain, there is a shop called Pepco. It's part of the same chain,
All right.
but they don't have anything for a pound there.
Mm.
But they do occasionally have interesting things I can put in resin.
Yeah.
Christmas decorations, Halloween decorations, that kind of thing.
Well, I often have a nose around in charity shops and things like that as well, because you might find something in there for a couple of pounds and you think, wow, that'll look amazing in resin.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot in the UK. I mean, I'd go in and buy god awful biographies, simply so I could use the printed pages in crafts that I was making.
Yeah.
Because I think destroying a book is really not a thing I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
But if it's a really crappy, awful book that should have never been written,
Yeah.
I can live with ripping out the odd page. You know?
Don't say Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. You'll get some angry people in chat. Oh, okay. There we go.
This was my Christmas present from my daughter.
Okay. Wingardium Leviosa and all that. Yeah, I know the odd spell.
Mischief managed or not at all managed. Yeah. Especially with all these cats. I wish they'd settle down.
I tell you, when my oldest was into Harry Potter, she was into it. She's 14 now, so she's moody teenager stage and isn't into Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But when she was younger and was into it, I spent a good week carving her a dragon wand. And it looked amazing to me. It was like, and it was all out of some CLS timber. And I carved it with the dragon going around the wand.
Yeah.
I gave it her. She looked at it and went, well, that doesn't look like a Harry Potter wand. And I was like, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah, well, for my birthday a few years ago, can't even remember which birthday it was now, my husband took me to Harry Potter World.
Oh, wow.
But then, to be fair, for his 50th birthday, I took him to Cadbury World. So
okay, do they do? I've heard they do the real butter beers and stuff like that there.
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
I didn't try it. I wish I had now, but by the time we actually got to that section, I was like dead on my feet.
Yeah.
Issues.
Well, I always remember a few years ago, I took my my daughters to Legoland Windsor.
Yeah.
And it was nice weather, which was the first mistake I made. It was a nice day. And we paid quite a lot to go there. And we ended up getting on 4 rides in the whole day because of the queues. Yeah. And I tell you what really annoys me about all of these attractions now. You can pay like an extra £100 and get a VIP pass to skip the queues, which make the queues for everybody else twice as long. Yeah. And I refuse, when I pay admission, I refuse to pay almost as much as the admission, if not more, just to jump ahead in the queue. I think it's wrong.
Oh, it is. I'm trying to think where else. Where have I done that? Oh, yeah. I think we got the free upgraded. I think it was Universal Studios we did that.
Right.
But not with kids. My kids are well grown up. My kids are probably your age, so.
Right. 21, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 21, nearly 3 times over, but
Yeah. Well, I'm enjoying the last year of saying 21 for the 21st time because in less than a month now, that's it. I can't say it anymore.
well, that actually means you're younger than both my children. So
Oh, okay. Age is but a number. That's what
yeah.
I always say. As long as you're breathing, as long as you're active, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think I commented this. I think it was on Tracy's live, and it's like, yeah, age is just a number until you're waiting in the queue for passport control and security takes you to the senior line.
Oh, right. I didn't know there was one. But there we go.
This was in, where was it? Bangkok.
Oh, right. Okay.
We went on holiday with my daughter and son-in-law and my husband, obviously. And we're queuing up for passport control just to be landing in Bangkok. And this, I'd like to call him a gentleman, but that wasn't what I called him at the time. He's like, how old are you? I'm like, pardon? How old are you? So I'm 62. He said, you go over there, old people, that way.
I think that's just poor translation. But
yeah. But I mean, my husband's standing there and he's like, he's 10 years older than me, by the way.
Yeah.
And he wasn't approached at all. And then my daughter's saying, yeah, that's my mum. And they're like, you go too. And then my son-in-law was like, that's my wife. And also, I'm older than my mother-in-law, which is true, by the way.
Right.
And they're like, you're not old enough, you stay. And he's like, but I'm older than her.
It's all fun and games.
Yeah, it's
so obviously we're going to get you to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the week. That's a given. That's going to happen. What are your plans longer term for your YouTube?
Basically, I'd like to kind of, if possible, encourage people.
Yeah.
Well, the channel's going to keep going. I mean, I may do other crafts and not just resin going forward. It depends on the eyesight, my boredom threshold. It depends on a lot of things. I'm not very good at most of the crafts, to be fair. I think I found my home in resin.
Yeah.
I wish I could paint and draw. I have painted and drawn for many years. I'm just rubbish at it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a bit like me. Strangely, I'm not very good at drawing. But if you ask me to carve something in wood, I can do it. And it's bizarre because I'm not very good at drawing, but I can almost take material away to create a shape, which is just strange.
Yeah, but I watch people doing like clay and modeling and things like that. I'm going to hope in hell. There's not. I have something called aphantasia, which is not a physical problem. It's the inability to picture things in your mind. I just can't.
Yeah.
If you say like, oh, close your eyes and picture something, all I see is black. I see nothing.
Right.
Which kind of makes things difficult to be creative because you think, oh, I can just picture this thing coming together and it's going to be like this, and I just can't do that.
Yeah. So have you got to almost see a finished product and then have that in front of you to get that design?
It pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I can so this week's Froggy Friday is the long-awaited, Lola, I hope you're listening, Elton Frog.
Oh.
So
is that going to be Elton John related then, this frog?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Lula's been on at me for a while about this. But the only way I could kind of get to that stage is looking at pictures of Elton John.
Yeah.
For the outfit inspiration and that kind of thing.
Oh, she looks happy in chat.
Yeah.
Got a big yay.
Yeah. So I can't just think. I mean, I can think, right, Elton John, glasses, sparkles. but I can't kind of picture a finished product. I'm winging it as I go along.
Yeah.
Unless
You're gonna
I've
have to call it Rocket Frog
yeah,
instead of Rocket Man. That could work.
yeah, could do. Except that wasn't the costume I was going for, but I could go for that one actually because I'm not using the normal frog mold. I'm using a different one. That's I've got quite a few different ones from Temu lately.
Yeah. I've heard the smaller ones from Timo are matte though, rather than shiny.
Oh, the small one is matte, yeah, but
Yeah.
this particular mold is a frog kind of sitting in a lotus pose. So you get to see front and back, whereas you don't in the standard frog mold, which I think would be a lot better for Elton John style thing.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see that one actually, because not an Elton John style frog, but I'm thinking about doing a bit of a diorama sort of thing with different frogs in different poses.
Yeah.
But obviously in the standard frog mold, they're just flat, and that wouldn't look right if I'm going to submerge them in water or things like that. It'd be great to get some that are sort of in a swimming position, some that are stood up a little bit, and see what I can do with that.
Yeah, I think one of the ones that I didn't buy, at least I don't think I've ordered it, I might have, you'll never know, is I think it's like 3 frogs kind of sitting on each other's shoulders, and it's the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil frogs in a stack. But I did, what did I do? When I did the rude frog.
I haven't seen that either.
Frog Geldof. Oh, seriously? You didn't see Frog Geldof?
No.
Oh, dear. No, I don't have a piano, Susie, unfortunately. And I'm not clever enough to make one. So, yeah, Frog Geldof. Well, I made him, and I made him out of Ecopore.
Yeah.
And I had a bit left over, so I put some in a different frog mold, which was a frog sitting there holding a heart in front of him.
Okay.
But that was just kind of like an extra to the main event, if you like. Yeah.
I'll tell you, that's one of the things I love about your videos and a few of the other Froggy Fridays, because I normally just do the frog. I don't add any embellishments to it or anything like that. It's what I can get in that mold. And actually, some of the ones I see with the embellishments, they add a lot of character to the frog. And as well with Lula, as well. I know she likes the characters. And it's those little additions that you add to it, which I would never even think of. And they do add a lot of character to them.
I don't think Lula's ever made a frog without a crown.
Yeah.
They always have crowns. And, of course, all her alligators have hats and flowers.
Well, it seems like a lot of people have seen the rude frog by the looks of it in the chat. The swearing frog. The T-shirt said the F word off. Is that the one?
Not on the one I made, no. I think that was the one. I think Marie from Ginrin Creates may have done that one.
Right.
Mine was wearing, obviously, because Froggy needs a Band-Aid, it was Feed the World on his T-shirt. So
okay.
Yes, I remember the orange hair one.
But it's amazing the amount of ideas that come out. And what amazes me is if you look at those playlists, it's still new ideas every week.
Oh, yeah. So everybody does something different pretty much every week.
Yeah. Laura's had a crown and an amputated frog last Friday. That'll be interesting. Yes, I don't think I saw that.
I thought I did. Yes, I did see it. Yes, I remember.
I saw one recently where it might have been Lula's actually, where she did 2 frogs at once, but one of them, I think the arm had a hole in it basically where the resin hadn't spread. So it had like
yes.
Yeah, I saw that. And then it was fixed with the UV.
I think that was actually Lisa's. Or may have been Lula's. Because it was one of the small ones, because there's been a big one and a few small ones, and one of the small ones had a hole in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like Lula's will be interesting this week as well. It looks like a cat may have been busy if it's going to be full of poop.
Yeah. Anything related to the one you did last week full of noodles?
Well, you see, that's what I was going to say. People mock me for putting food in. This is next level. This This is recycled food.
Ew, is all I can say to that.
Indeed. But it's been, can you believe it? We've gone over an hour. So does anybody in the audience have any more questions for Karen before we close this live down? And don't forget as well, if you're watching this after the event, go to the Dragon's Cave and subscribe. We need to get Karen over 1,000 subscribers. She's been doing videos for over a year, and they're amazing. And the differences that you do on there, that you've got the silicone inlays as well as the resins and things like that. So go watch a few and make sure you subscribe. And if you're not subscribed to me as well, do me a favor, give me a subscribe as well. But last chance for any questions. If there's a vomit frog, I don't want to know. Okay.
Weren't you talking about putting peas in your frog?
No, I said I wasn't going to put the peas in. Somebody said I should have, but there we go.
Just
I think everybody's enjoyed the chat, though, because they're all saying time's flown by.
Oh, thank you.
But no, from my point of view as well, it's been lovely meeting you. And not just seeing the two hands, as we all see in resin. And I think, do you know what? I think your channel is going to grow massively. If more people see this, hopefully, we're going to get you over that 1,000. Then the excitement really starts, and you can start earning 10p a week.
Then the excitement stops because I've got to 1,000, and then what have I got to look forward to?
Yeah. Well, then you've got to look forward to 10,000. It might take a bit longer.
Yeah, I think I made a slip at the time. I can't remember I think it was the video that went out on yesterday, talking about the 1,000 subscriber, the giveaway.
Yep.
And I think at one point I said 100,000 subscribers. I very quickly corrected myself, but that may be the video's going out tomorrow. I can't remember.
I'm going to guess that'll probably take my channel 20 years if I'm lucky.
Yeah. But did it in short order.
Yeah, I think all it takes is that one or two good videos that go a little bit viral.
Yeah.
Then everybody sees them and everybody sort of subscribes.
Yeah, I mean, he is the insane genius, I suppose. Yeah.
I love his experiments. I think he's great for that. And what I like doing is seeing some of these experiments and then seeing how I can adapt them.
Yeah.
So this obviously
that's what I did with the resin paper.
Yeah, so that's the bear. That was resin paper. Let's not talk about resin paper. I'm not doing it again. But I've seen that new viral bloom that Judy's been doing recently. I think they're calling it the lace effect.
Yeah, but I think you really need the hibiscus shape mold for getting what to draw the right way. And I've got
some smaller ones with 5 petals that I think might work, just 2-ounce molds. So I might have a play around with it. But again, I've got an idea because I don't want to do just that effect. I wanted to make it my own. And my idea is going to be incorporating that and the 3D bloom in one piece. So you've got sort of the 3D bloom petals in the middle, and then hopefully those sort of lacy petals on the outside of it, if it works. So that's my plan over the next few days.
And one of these days I will get the bloom right.
Well, honestly, if ever you want advice, you know where I am. Always available on DMs. If I'm in the office at work, then I won't get back to you till the evening. But honestly, anybody can do blooms. I didn't know what I was doing when I first started, and it's just practice and getting to know roughly how thick your resin is and at what temperature you need to pour it at. And again, not going too heavy with the white.
Yeah, well, the resin I use is very very thin. It's low viscosity. It's brilliant for working with.
Yeah,
but clearly not so great for the blooms.
It's a low viscosity. Yeah. I would. Do you know how everyone always says start at 34 to 36 degrees? Scrap that. Start at 42.
Okay, should I keep a fire extinguisher on standby?
I would definitely, but no. Honestly, if it's a low viscosity, I would definitely wait until it goes over 40 degrees. Otherwise, you're more likely to get that sink. And I've got quite a low viscosity one, and I'm actually going to experiment with an even lower one over the next few weeks because I've got some deep pour, and that's really low viscosity. But I wanted to just see for an experiment if you could still get a bloom in it. So that's another one I've got coming up.
That'd be interesting. I do have some deep pour actually. Can't even remember why I bought. Yeah, I do remember why I bought it because I wanted to pour something deeper. It was doing the dragon in the egg.
Oh yeah.
I'd done a few with them, but you could. Didn't matter what stage I added the next layer, you could always see the line. So I wanted the deep pour to get it done in one.
Yeah.
And it worked. Yay! But
No, it's great. And
I
obviously,
do find that the deep pour
that's
does
my
shrink.
first deep pour experiment.
Yeah.
So it works for that.
Yeah, I find deep pour shrinks a lot
Yeah.
in the mold, though.
Oh, I didn't notice that actually in this one, but again, it might depend on the brand as well, because again, every resin's different and acts differently, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, what I can get over here is not the same as what you can get there. I know you can get
No.
Resin Pro over there, but the deep pour I'm using, it was among the cheapest of the ones I got that were available to me, and it's by a company called Rhino Cast.
Okay.
And most of the people I've spoken to have never even heard of the brand.
No, I've not heard of that.
I've also got sitting around somewhere in a cupboard. So a friend of mine, her husband, had bought a load of resin, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, Glass Cast.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
So he'd bought a load of this because he was going to redo the bar tops.
Yeah.
They owned a bar, and he was going to redo the entire counter, and he just never got around to it, and he gave it all to me.
Okay. Free resin.
That's kind of like halfway between. It does something, I think, up to about 2 inches deep.
Yeah.
Whereas the Rhino Casti Deep that I've got goes up to 4 inches.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can get. It's supposed to be 1.5 centimeters with the eye crystal resin pro that I use.
Yeah.
I've pushed that to 2 inches, especially this time of year when it's cool, without too much of a problem. I would be wary of going much deeper than that. But
well, I've done do you know a school mold? I've done one of those, just a full pour. I don't know if you saw the Crystal School video I did, but that was just a straight pour with 1-to-1 resin.
Yeah.
And that didn't flash cure. I was shocked because it's a 10-ounce mold and it's still reasonably deep.
Yeah.
But that was just a 1-to-1. So again, I think sometimes you can get away with it, sometimes you can't.
Yeah, you kind of learn what your resin will and won't do. Is trial and error a lot of the time.
Yeah. And Paula's asking who's on next week, and we've got Erica next week.
Yeah.
From, is it Kitty Studio? I always struggle to say that one.
Kitty Kitten, I think.
I think it's Kitty Kitten Studio, I think it is. If I'm pronouncing it right. But yeah, we've got Erica on next week. And then I'm still confirming the week after, but I think it's going to be Tracy if she's still free. We're going to do a bit of a different one with regards to growing your YouTube channel, not just resin.
Yeah.
So that should be different and exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did pronounce it right. Thank God for that. And I believe Erica's from America as well. So it will be our second American guest.
I was going to say it'll make a nice change from a British accent, I suppose, won't it?
Yeah, Tracy's saying yes for the week after as well, so that'd be brilliant. And don't forget, guys, anybody with a YouTube channel that does anything resin related, if you want to come on the show, let me know and we'll get you on, because I've still got about another 40 slots to fill this year. And it'll it's laid back, it's a chat.
You need a Canadian, you need at least one Australian, I would have thought. But Joanna,
I'm trying to get Julie Cutts, but she's not responding.
You might try Lisa. Lisa might do it, perhaps. But then Joanna, creative pouring.
Mm-hmm.
No, not creative pouring. That's Cheryl. Sorry. Anyway, you know who Joanna is. She lives in Australia, but she's actually, I believe, Brazilian. So
okay.
So that'd be more interesting.
It will, yeah. It'd be great to get somebody from every country in the world eventually that's done a
That'd be
live.
cool. Yeah.
That would be amazing. So I need to try and find out. I think the lady who's done that original lace effect video is on Instagram. I think she's from Slovenia, I think I've seen, or sort of somewhere different, Eastern European. So we'll have to get her on as well, and then that'll be another country.
Yeah, you need a big map. Yes, it was loose balls. Thanks, Tracy. Loose balls. Yes.
I think she came up. Did Loose Soul originally come up with the dragon scale effect? Is that right? Is that the same lady?
I don't know.
No, there was somebody in Australia. I think they've got their own brand of resin pigments as well, and they originally came up, I think, with the dragon scale effect. But I don't know if that's them or not. But we'll have a look. I'm sure we'll find out. But yeah, anybody wants to be on TNR? I think she's located in the UK. She
is in the UK, but I'm not sure what the accent is. I know her name is Shalina.
Yeah.
But
again, if anybody else talks to any of these creators as well, because I don't get to talk to them all the time because I work full time. But if they want to come on, get them to send me an email, get them to send me a message. I'll set it all up and we'll get them on as well. And I think it'd be good to continue doing that, getting to know people.
I'm a bit of a sad sack. I don't really talk to people outside of Discord. So, yeah.
I try to, but you know what? There's so many different social media sites now. It's hard to keep on top of them all.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Tracy's saying Shalina might be up for it. And I know she's got quite a few ideas that I've seen on her channel as well, which have been quite unique, which have been great. So it'd be nice to get her on.
Yeah, I do like watching her channel. I enjoy that one. In fact, I enjoy most of them. Suda, resin artists.
Okay.
Indian lady called Suda. She's, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I don't know if it's something she'd be able to do, given time differences and availability around work and things. But yeah, that would be.
Yes, Susie, I've already asked Julie a few times, but I'm waiting for her to message me back because I don't think she accepts messages at the minute on a Facebook page, but I'm going to try a few other methods and see if we can get her on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's been brilliant. It's been great getting to know you. It's been great getting to chat to everybody in the audience as well. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to both channels. Let's get Karen over 1,000 subscribers. Then we can celebrate that next week on next week's chat. And I think I genuinely think you'll get there next week. But it's been great meeting you. And if anybody wants to get on the show, you know how to get in contact. And I'll see you all next week.
Excellent. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
See you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
That looks like Susie's sub now as well, so that's another one. See you all later.
Thank you. Bye.